my eyes in bed at 3 a.m., which is a universally popular hour to startle from sleep, the hour for witches, epiphanies, and peeing, depending on your proclivities. And I saw my place in time, visually, I mean. I pictured a string as far as I could reach between my outstretched arms. You can do this at home or you can do it here, but go ahead and stretch out your arms and look at your own imaginary string. That's your life, your string of life. For as long as you can remember, you've been on the first inch of that string. Sure, when you get somewhere in your 50s and 60s, you have an inkling that you can't stay on that inch forever, but you don't really believe it because there's so much string ahead. And what happens next so fast, you almost miss it, is that you're all the way to the end of the string, shoved along like a bead on an abacus, click, clack. And instead of an inch behind you, there's only an inch ahead of you. Your long past has now become a very short future. It makes you want to put your head under the pillow for a month. It's terrifying, especially when you're 70, like I am. And it made the decision about what I was going to do next really pressing. What was I going to do with the inch I had left? I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a writer, but I was pretty old to set out on that path. When I graduated from university in 1978, I had planned to graduate into a writing career, but a shortage of funds, of encouragement, of opportunity, and of courage meant that instead I became a journalist and an editor, helping other people find their best self and their voice. Did I sublimate my own writing voice into the voice of other writers? Sure, I did some of that, but I loved my job. I loved my job as a writer. And I did as an editor, and I did pretty well at it. But one of the things I've come to believe is that many of us have a shadow career that waits quietly in the wings for its moment to come out, that we carry the path that we didn't take inside us. A painter, a dancer, a master gardener, an engineer, a chef, a builder. And that's what happened to me. The path not taken in my 20s opened up again in my 60s. This shadow career had been waiting for me to be ready for it. It took me a while for me to see this career or believe in it, but here's how it went for me. When I retired from 45 years in journalism, I threw myself a big bash with all those people from my career. I had people from the Globe and Mail and Maclean's and the Star, and I had champagne, and I rented a microphone, and I had lights, and I stood on a stool. Like, it was a really great party. And my plan for the party was to disappear in a puff of smoke like Bilbo Baggins. Because what I believed I was going to do was I was going to set out for a grand adventure. I was free. I didn't have to work anymore. I was going to set out. Except that at the same time that I was planning that trip, I was also building a 10 by 10 hut at the back of my garden where I planned to retreat and write. And I look back and wonder at the cognitive dissonance that allowed me to pursue two ideas that were in direct opposition to each other. So the whole time I was planning my big, unbounded trip into the wide, waiting world, the blue, blue sea of Greece and the green roads of Ireland, I was building an inward future in my backyard. But this is where life is lived, isn't it? On these parallel tracks. It turned out that my body knew all along that my grand adventure would be to the garden hut. The morning after my party, I walked the 33 steps from my house to the hut. there to launch my new career. I sat down and write. Well, okay, I didn't quite sit down and write because it had been a really great party, and I'd been up until 4. So I laid on the cot in the hut for most of the day and napped. But then I did start to write. And that was a couple of years ago now. I've since written a couple of books. I have come to believe that there is a tremendous journey to be had by staying still, by digging deep where you are. I didn't set out horizontally. I set out vertically. It did surprise me often that the place that I chose to end up in was a 10 by 10 room, which was basically the very same as the offices I'd worked in my whole career. So that was odd to me, but I did find real treasures there and real hidden depths, which isn't to say, and I think this is important because I know a lot of people are writers here are writing things. This isn't to say that the trip to writing was easy. Writing is really hard. It's miserable most of the time. It's really rough. And I'm misquoting Martin Amis here, but he said, you're in the middle of something and you're trying to write it, and you go down to the ocean floor, just like to the bottom of your confidence and your belief in what you're writing. He says, and there you discover that everything you are writing is shit. And he said, and then you discover that everything you've ever written is shit. And then you discover that everything you will ever write is shit. So, sort of lost my train of thought there. I got so caught up in the shit part, but you know, I do. Speaking of parallel tracks, there are many times when I say to myself, I wish I had never actually chosen writing. I could be having a very relaxing retirement right now. I could be having a peaceful time. I wish I'd never done it. And then at the same time, on the parallel track, I'm saying to myself, I wish I'd started so much earlier. I wish. Why did I wait? Why didn't I listen to that voice? And if I have 2 messages I want to leave, one is pay attention, listen to yourself, listen to the inner voice, listen to that hum that's saying, try it, do this, don't block me out. I'm interesting, I've got something to say. You've got something to say. I think a lot of the people here tonight have been saying something similar. And the other thing I'd say is that I try not to backwards identify. So as somebody who spent 45 years as a journalist and then switched to being a writer, I tended to, for a long time, say, well, I was an editor for 45 years, but now I'm writing, and sort of very embarrassed. But what I try to say now is, hello, I'm Cathrin Bradbury. I'm a writer. Give where you're headed a little hustle. Give it a little muscle. Say it out loud to yourself. Say it out loud to everybody else. Meanwhile, I have my inch, and I'll take it. Thank you very much.